YouTubers, welcome to Solve My Math Homework. We are the YouTube channel that only solves the problems our subscribers send in. And today we are given another indefinite integral and we're going to use U-Substitution. So let's talk about this. Now, I also have to apologize in advance because I'm using a little bit of new technology here. So I'm using a tablet I've never used before and my handwriting is a little herky-jerky at times. So let's look at this. I always say if you see something raised to an exponent and then something little right next to it that could be its derivative or close to its derivative, use U-Substitution. So we have 2 minus x raised to the 1/2 power and then 5x. Well, ignore the 5 because if you remember, we're going to take the 5, which is called a constant multiplier, and we're going to pull that out and deal with it later. So we really have x times 2 minus x to the 1/2. If I were to let u be 2 minus x, the derivative is negative 1 dx, which is not x. But since u is 2 minus x, I could create an x using u. So we're still going to use U-Substitution here, even though I don't have a derivative and derivative pair. So you're going to see how this will work. All right, let's get the pen working and let's see if I can make this make sense for you guys. All right, so we're going to try U-Substitution, and we're going to say if we use U-Substitution, u is going to be the 2 minus x. U is almost always the thing in the parentheses. So then once we have u, we need to know, well, what's du? Du is going to be negative dx. Well, I don't want a negative dx, right? Because I need something for everything in this integral. And I only have a dx. I don't have a negative dx. So let's just say if du is equal to negative dx, then negative du is equal to dx. And that's actually what we want. So we have a negative du. Perfect. Let's look and see if we have everything we need yet. And I don't think we do. So if we're looking here, we have dx, we took care of that. We have 2 minus x, we took care of that. This 5 we're going to bring out, we took care of that. We still have an x to deal with. So let's deal with that x. Let's go ahead and say, let's get my green back. And I can use, and if I'm going to get my pointer here, I can use this right here to make an x term. I can go ahead and subtract 2 and then divide by negative 1. So I'm going to use that and create my x term in terms of u. So if I have u equals 2 minus x, then u minus 2 equals negative x. And then if I just negate everything here, and I'll flip this order, 2 minus u is equal to x. So now I have an x term. So I can actually put every single thing in here. I now have that x term that I didn't have before. Okay, so perfect. I am going to go ahead and pull out that 5, like I said, that constant multiplier. We'll deal with it later. So if I kind of come down here and say 5, you get to hang out there for a little bit. Now I have x times 2 minus x, all raised to the 1/2 power dx. Okay, now I can start plugging in. So I'm going to say 5 times the integral. X, remember, x is 2 minus u. So I'm going to say x is 2 minus u. Remember, u is 2 minus x, so that's going to be u to the 1/2 power. And dx is negative du, but I'm going to put the du here, and I'm going to bring my negative sign out there. Okay, let's give ourselves a little more room now that we're kind of working this out. And now, before we integrate, I know you're thinking, okay, we're ready to integrate. But before we integrate, what I really want to do here is distribute my u. So I'm going to distribute u to the 1/2 to my negative u, and I'm going to distribute it over here to 2. Okay, so that gives me negative 5, don't lose your negative sign, times the integral of 2u to the 1/2 power. Now, minus u to the first power is really u to the 2 over 2. So this is going to be u to the 3/2 power du. I still have my du. I haven't done anything with that yet. Okay, so my differential's there. I've got everything. I distributed correctly. Now I can finally integrate, right? Now we can just use your basic integration rules and we can integrate. Oh, I really hate my handwriting with this. It's going to get better. Okay, so when we integrate, what we're going to do is we're going to now all of a sudden say just negative 5, and we're going to put a little bracket here. We'll multiply it. And we are going to raise this exponent by 1 and then divide by the new exponent. But since it's a fraction, we're going to multiply by the reciprocal. So let's say we've got a 2 times whatever the reciprocal of the new exponent is. And let's see, u to the 1/2 times, or plus 1 is 3/2. And so we're going to say times 2 over 3 over here. Okay, so now we have integration here, so we're going to have a minus. If we raise this by 1, 3/2 plus 2/2 is 5/2. So we're going to have u to the 5/2. And instead of dividing by 5/2, we're going to multiply by 2/5. Okay, and then we really have a plus c, but we'll add that at the end. Okay, so there we go. That's what we've got. We've integrated. We're not even close to done. Let's clean up a little bit here. Let's change colors. Let's give me blue. Okay, let's clean this up. We have over here, we have 2 times 2/3. That is 4/3. So let's just write 4/3 u to the 3/2 minus 2/5 u to the 5/2. And we're going to multiply this whole thing by our -5 on the outside. So don't forget to distribute this. We're going to distribute it there and distribute it there. And we're going to move up a little bit more, maybe. And when we distribute, let's change colors one more time. Okay, so now -5 times 4/3 is -20 over 3 u to the 3/2. Negative times a negative is going to be positive. 5 times 2/5 is just 2. U to the 5/2. We can go ahead and add our plus c here if you want. But remember, we have to now put in for u. We can't just leave this thing in terms of u. Remember that u, right here and here, was equal to 2 minus x. So we're going to go ahead and put 2 minus x back in for u. So we're going to say, I'll just write it over here, u was equal to 2 minus x from the very beginning. So we have to go ahead and put that back in. 20 over 3 times u minus, whoops, not u. I just said we wanted to get rid of u. Okay. I can't even blame the tablet on that. Okay, so minus 2 minus x, right, to the 3/2 power, plus 2 times not u, but 2 minus x to the 5/2 power, plus c, because remember we have an infinite amount of constants that we can add to this and it would have the same integral. All right, we are for real done. Thank you for bearing with the new technology. I hope that helped. If not, please submit your questions to us. We're the only YouTube channel, or I'm the only YouTube channel that I know of that does the math problems my subscribers send in. Until next time, take it easy.